back, uninformed movie lovers. It's another Uninformed Movie Reviews podcast, episode 36 to be exact. We're back here with David, Danny the Two Hands himself, and of course myself, Frank.
Is that who you are?
I am actually. Last I checked anyways.
Sounds an awful like someone who would say they were Frank.
You're not wrong. Today, we have another installment of everyone's favorite segment, our quest to find out what our favorite movie of all time is, at least up until this point. Obviously, there are movies that haven't come out yet, or others that have come out that we just haven't seen.
Well recited.
Yes, almost like
It's a lot easier when you're reading it verbatim.
You didn't have to tell on yourself like that.
For the viewers, it would have been pretty obvious. I was staring at my phone that whole time.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to our Danish viewers. Pretty cool. Send some cookies.
That's hilarious.
But for real, before we get started, thank you all for who have taken a second to rate us on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. We got pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, like someone
week.
Has been doing it. And I was like, wow, Danny.
Several people's.
It turns out you threatening people actually pretty good idea.
I would have bet against the idea if we were organized and this happened in a meeting format, but I would have been wrong.
It's something to
agreed, actually.
Yeah.
Something telling about human history and fear getting things done. You know what I
mean? We're going to have to change your name from Danny Two Hands to Danny Iron Fists.
Wow.
Yeah, but thank you for helping us out. Please continue to recommend us to your friends.
And enemies.
And enemies alike. Send us stuff at uninformedmoviereviews@gmail.com. Hate mail's cool. We'll probably delete it, but send us recs too. Help us out with a like, a share, and a subscribe. And please continue to do the 5-star podcast rating on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find this movie podcast. Yeah. Now let's get into this. We're talking about body horror.
Oh, body horror. Squish.
We should define body horror, don't you think?
That might be a good place to start, I suppose.
Webster's Dictionary.
You know what? I had looked up the actual definition, and it wasn't Webster's. It was someone pretty close, but
was it? What's the other one? Who's the competitors? Yeah, the Oxford Dictionary.
Well, let me see. Actually, I think it's just Wikipedia. Okay, now that's lame. But anyway.
The Websters of the internet.
It's a subgenre that intentionally showcases grotesque or psychologically disturbing violations of the human body. That's the most metal definition I've read.
Yeah.
Yeah, the use of the word violation takes it to another level.
I actually found something about that that a film scholar, Linda Williams, don't know who that is, said that body horror relates to one of three, quote, gross out genres or excess genres, along with melodrama and pornography.
Melodrama and pornography.
What a place to be between.
Interesting.
The reason she says that is that the success of the film and its potency is linked with the audience's matched reactions to that which is being portrayed on screen.
Fair.
So, for example, a character in the film is puking from the side of a mangled human body. A melodrama is portraying and invoking, tears, and pornography is doing other stuff.
Are they tears from the fears?
Oh, songs from the big chair.
Ridiculous. David, why don't you go first? Why don't you bring us into it?
All right, man. First up, my runner-up body horror choice. Schindler's List. No, I'm sorry.
I'd say you'd have to count it. You'd have an argument.
Requiem for a Dream. No, I'm just joking twice. Okay.
I was a little caught off guard by that one.
Damn, David. Fool me once. Shame on you.
Okay. Fool me twice. Can't fool me again.
My bad. My runner-up for body horror. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? No, I'm just joking. Okay.
What is your choice?
30 minutes later.
All right. Okay. Let's all calm down a little bit. My real choice is Evil Dead.
Hey, good. Nice.
from 2013.
Did anyone else choose that?
Yeah, there's definitely.
Oh, this
I
is
did
the
not.
13 version. Really?
Yeah, man. I mean, I picked the 13 one because,
There's definitely some body violation happening.
yeah, so
Is this Fede Alvarez?
Fede Alvarez, yes, sir. I tried to pick one that, honestly, I tried to pick movies today that just really disgusted me first and foremost. You know, is this my favorite Evil Dead movie? No, but it is the most grotesque and, violating of the Evil Dead movies for sure.
It's hardcore.
I mean, the old ones, there's just that little bit of camp to it.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, some of it is disgusting and disturbing. And I'm
But you
sure
have the safety of like chuckling.
you have the safety of, Bruce Campbell's lighthearted delivery. Now, the first Evil Dead, the original, isn't lighthearted at all.
It's super serious.
It's played very straight, but the charm comes from how bad it looks. You know what I mean? It looks like
It's a student film that took a lot to make, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Whereas the 2013 Evil Dead is just like straight adrenaline to the neck,
Dude.
and in no way is it campy, or maybe you could argue the end gets a little over the top and silly when it's
But-
literally raining blood. Spoiler alert!
It's intense.
But it's an intense movie,
Very
man.
intense. And it holds up.
Yeah, it's one that I find myself. It's one that I find myself like gritting my teeth while watching, like clenching my jaw.
Oh, that's just something I find myself doing whether I'm awake or asleep, which is I'm just constantly clenching and grinding.
There's a scene in particular that we'll get to that I is one of mine jaw clenching scenes.
Well, let's just hit it with a quick like synopsis. It's the movie opens up with the cabin, the cabin in the woods, and it's this ritual sacrifice, not related to any characters who were there, but just kind of setting up the evil nature of the cabin. And man, is it just immediately disturbing and incredibly violent. I love it.
Daddy, I'm your little girl. Don't set me on fire.
Yes, it's that Game of Thrones scene.
Oh, yeah.
But man, I was so.
Oh man,
into
that's
it.
hilarious.
Yeah, that's really fun. I didn't think about that until you said that right now. But, and then the actual plot of the movie is a character Mia by Jane Levy. She is going through withdrawal, and this is their story to going to this cabin. I think originally it's like. In the original movie, Ash takes his girlfriend up for the weekend. It's just a romantic getaway. And other people stop by who just happen to be there.
It's a really good circumstantial take.
Yes.
I like that. That's what brings them to the cabin. It's not just a retelling.
There needs to be a reason why they can't leave either. You know what I mean? So they're up there to see through this detoxing essentially for Mia, because it's like her and her, 4 friends. It's people who are really close to her in her life.
Her brother too.
Yeah, her brother's there.
Which seems like something you would need a medical professional around for. You know what I mean?
Probably.
People die during
Well,
detox.
I think one of her friends is like a nurse or something like that.
Yeah. There is something. There's a little bit of backstory just to like quell all the, wait a second.
All the people like us in the audience.
Exactly. Shouldn't they be? But then really the moment that shouldn't have happened is Eric, who's kind of the nerdy looking dude, scraggly looking hippie guy. He goes down in the basement and man, there's an evil looking book there. Let's open this thing up and just start reciting
as you do.
this language I don't know. And then hilarity ensues.
Something about that white people curiosity. It just fuels all of
honestly,
these.
If you find a book, like as long as it didn't look like it was covered in flesh, you find a book in another language, you tell me you're not going to try to pronounce some of those words, let's speak a fake language really quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I feel like that'd be my first move. I'd be like, oh, watch
Interesting.
me read this.
I think once I touched it and figured out it was like necrotized human flesh, I probably would be like, oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
not
As long as
gonna-
it didn't have a flesh cover, that'd be the first
mean,
move. If
even
it
if
looked like
the-
it was covered in flesh, I probably wouldn't start touching it.
Even if it just looked like a book, I probably wouldn't read anything out loud to myself while alone in a room. That part's never really made sense to me. Like, no one's here, dude. Who are you reading this to? Who do people just pace around like reading books out loud to
Every
themselves?
time you guys don't see me, that's what I'm doing.
English teachers, David.
just
English
smoking
teachers.
cigarettes, pacing and reading books out loud.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, you're pretty cool, man. That's a cool guy move. Frank, would you want to hit us with the numbers before we get into, what makes this movie poppin'?
Yeah, so the numbers here, made on a budget of $17 million, had an
That's
opening
lean.
weekend hit of $25,775,847.
I don't remember it being that big.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I'm sure they do.
That's big for a horror movie, man.
That
for an
is.
opening weekend for a horror movie?
To make almost double what you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost. Pretty close. Go on to make a worldwide gross of $97,542,952. Not chump change.
Not something at all.
That's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah, piles of cheddar even. The whole block. IMDb score of 6.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomato score of 63%.
That's sad. That's criminally
That's a little
low.
too low.
Yeah, it's a little low.
There's probably a little bit of that, especially on Rotten Tomatoes, like that, nah, man, it's all about the original. Kind of thing.
isn't Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It is Evil Dead, though. Look at the title.
It's true.
Surprising. I didn't know the budget numbers and the gross from it, but knowing them, it's like pretty crazy that there's never been anything from this other than Ash versus the Evil Dead. You know what I mean?
Well, which is unrelated, too.
Yeah.
That is a sequel to the original.
Easter egg. Doesn't Mia show up in Ash versus Evil Dead?
No, she's not in it. They've been talking for years about doing different kind of things with it. You know what I mean? I think crossing over the universes was talked about for a bit. I think giving it its own show was a thing for a bit.
Aren't they remaking Army of Darkness right now, though?
I think they are. I mean, the thing is, I feel like with Evil Dead, a lot of times it doesn't even happen. Like they say they're going to do something, and then it just never happens. Like they were saying, "Oh, this for sure is going to be the end." Ash versus Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
And then now it's like, no, we're going to do something else.
There's Camel's I still got it.
There's a really cool documentary, I think on Netflix, maybe Hulu, about Evil Dead fandom, and that was pretty cool.
Deadites.
That is cool. I'll have to check that out. Well, I mean, back to Evil Dead. Why I picked this movie is not a lot of movies give me that, peeking through a hole between my hands. You know what I mean? Cover my eyes, but still trying to see what's going on the screen. Man, when they're mutilating tongues and stuff in this movie, and when you get into skin things, peeling of skin.
That was the scene that got me.
Yeah,
is the
man.
one where she breaks the glass and is carving off her face.
And
the hypodermic needle in the eye, too.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, eye stuff always gets you,
Oof.
Yeah. Saw. The slow eye pierce. Yeah,
oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
For some reason in Saw, it doesn't get me as much because it's so hokey.
Yeah.
And it's coming.
And
and that's the 3D one too, the one I'm thinking of
It's real
specifically
hokey.
with the poles. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely uncomfortable. That's definitely squirmy, but something about this movie, and it's just it feels so real too, especially the dialogue in the movie. It just seems like here are 5 people in their mid-20s who are in this situation right now, and it just feels very real. It doesn't feel like a movie sometimes.
I've always really enjoyed the horror movies with the premise of something else going on besides the paranormal stuff, and the paranormal stuff is layering on top of it. You know what I mean?
Like it's just like a catalyst kind of
There's
thing.
a conflict going on, but then the paranormal stuff is happening around it that kind of worsens things. Those are really great movies, I think.
Yeah. Those are good, and I'm trying to think. A lot of haunting stuff usually, demonic possession kind of stuff goes with that.
Troubled marriage.
You know what?
Kid,
I actually just watched one that was that's like that, and it's honestly we talked about it not long ago. Overlord is like that, but I also watched another movie called Ghosts of War. Have you ever heard of that movie?
No, I haven't.
I think it was pretty much an underdog movie. It came out a couple years ago, and it features some lesser known actors, but they're essentially soldiers in World War II, kind of like Operation Overlord. They're stationed to overlook this huge mansion that's in the German countryside or something like that. That's a strategic post for Nazis.
Dang, sounds like a setup for Call of Duty Nazi Zombies.
There's some whack crazy stuff that happens at that mansion. So it's the mansion is haunted, and it's cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Is it new or what is it?
I think 4 years old or something.
Oh wow!
But it's got unnecessarily low ratings. I watched it and I was like, I wouldn't rate it that low.
Interesting. Okay,
Might have to check that out.
I might have to check that out as well. I mean, other than Evil Dead, I would just say overall the series is. I love the body horror of the series. If you want something really visceral and disgusting, 2013 Evil Dead is pretty uncomfortable. If you want something really silly, you got to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead.
And Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2. I mean, you have to watch the whole thing, but
Yeah.
that TV show, man, some of the
It's
stuff in the
pretty
TV
great.
show is like ridiculous.
The first season's so good, too.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Evil Dead 2013 was my first date with my fiance.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
How cute.
Isn't that special?
How cute.
That is a cute little coincidence.
All right, man. Well, that's it for my number 2, my runner-up, if you would.
That's a pretty solid runner-up, David.
What can I say?
Do pretty good work, man. Danny, what are you bringing to the round table of chicanery today?
Oh. My runner-up, my number 2, if you shall, if I so may,
You better.
is 2009's Splice.
Splice.
Have you guys seen this movie?
No, I have not.
I haven't seen Splice either.
Okay. Directed by Vincenzo Natali. He is known for being the writer and director of films like Cube and Cypher. It was written by Vincenzo Natali and Antoinette Terry Bryant. Executive produced by Guillermo del Toro. It stars Adrian Brody, Sarah Pauly, and Delphine Cheniak, who's like a model of some sort. This is like her debut film.
Model of some sort, like Belle Delphine?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Sarah Pauly, that's crazy. You never see Sarah Pauly in anything. She's in Dawn of the Dead.
That's
But
where
you
she's
do
from.
see Adrian
Yeah.
Brody and stuff, and I like me some Adrian
I
Brody.
do like me some Adrian Brody. Shout out to Predators and The Pianist.
Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling. I mean, I can just keep going on.
That's a weird list of movies right there.
So the basic plot is it like concerns experiments in genetic engineering being done by like a young scientific couple, Sarah Pauly and Adrian Brody. They attempt to introduce human DNA into their work of splicing animal genes. The couple work as researchers for like a pharmaceutical company focusing on creating drugs to treat like congenital diseases. But when the pharmaceutical company, after a breakthrough they make, realizes that they need to stop and like work at the pace that they're at for like another 10 years to develop a drug, the couple decides, okay, but they're going to do the thing they want to do on the side, which is actually like interweave human and animal DNA and into a human embryo and to kind of make it something better. I don't know.
Like that movie Lamb.
It is Lamb. It is the premise to Lamb. Well, so far that we know.
Well, yeah. Of what the trailer tells us.
It's a setting similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this movie's great. Let's hit the numbers before I get started.
Number time. So, made on a budget of $30 million, would worldwide gross $27.1 million, which is less. Losing money on that for those of you doing the numbers at home.
Look at that.
It's got a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Which
is always kind of nice to see them have the same score, if I'm being honest.
I kind of disagree with how low that is. It's kind of a underdog movie, a lesser known movie. It's definitely a good watch at home if you're just like, I kind of want something spooky that I can just enjoy. Honestly, it's a nice little watch. It's creepy. It definitely crosses those boundaries on like what is human, what's not human.
It's more human than human.
More human than human.
Wow. Sorry.
I mean, there's some uncomfortable stuff for sure because of interactions with the creature and stuff like that.
Interactions, you say?
Interactions. I think I know what you mean by interactions.
Yeah, I think I might know. I wish I had a sexier sound on this soundboard for what a
Put on,
interaction.
just put on Wilhelm.
I was going to say, put up that whistle. Whoop. Perfect.
I mean, that's the reaction you'll have when you're watching it. I don't know, man. I watched this movie when it came out. I was actually working at the movie theater in 2009, and I remember this coming out and just being like, I've never heard of this movie. I'm just gonna go watch it on my break. So I watched it. I ended up like going to watch it again, and it was really cool. I like the premise. It doesn't quite stick the landing at the end, but it's still like the rest of the movie. Totally cool. Great build up. Great setting. It has a lot to say. As far as the body horror aspect of it, there's really cool effects. I mean, like I said, it's like a human animal hybrid, much like that show on Netflix that's out right now.
Tooth Fairy.
That
The one that's a comic book, right? Or
Yeah.
no, not
Sweet
Tooth
Tooth.
Fairy. Sweet Tooth. There it is. Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of that, and then there's also just a bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo that's really cool. But
Love scientific mumbo
you know,
jumbo.
That is good.
pseudoscience.
Shout
mumbo
out to
jumbo.
Primer.
That's right. Oh, that's it. It's spoken fast, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I think the portrayal with Adrian Brody and Sarah Polley, like they're got really good chemistry, and you can see it work. It's a very good ensemble cast. It's only like 4 recognizable faces, maybe.
Okay.
And it's really just between Adrian Brody, Sarah Polley, and the creation.
Interesting. Okay.
I would highly recommend it if you got some time. Maybe a Sunday afternoon. Who knows?
Ooh, there's even a suggestion of when to watch it.
Yeah, that's a very specific suggestion, Danny.
Yeah.
A good spooky movie edition rec. There you go. That's my runner-up.
And then we got plenty of time
Love
left for spooky movies. The season is upon us.
Yeah.
How very exciting.
Just starting.
Frank, what's your runner-up?
Thanks, Danny. Thanks for kicking it on over to me. So I didn't have to kick it over to myself. For my runner-up, I have a 1986's The Fly. Buzz, buzz.
You had to know it was coming, folks, and I'm glad. You do love this movie, though. I've heard you talk about this movie a lot.
I've actually only seen this very recently.
Wow.
And then I rewatched it again today. I like back-to-back my 2 picks today because we record on my day off. So it's always nice to like cram some movies in and get in the headspace. And what a disgusting headspace today was. How fantastic. I'm going to go numbers up top just because I am the numbers daddy. So that's how we'll lead into it. Scoring a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb and a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Made on a budget of $15 million, would score an opening weekend flop of $7,007,423.
Is that a flop?
Not a flop, but it's not a bang.
No,
Well, you make half.
it's a.
Yeah.
Okay, we're making some money, but we'll write gross $60,629,159.
Yeah, this is a beloved movie.
I mean, it's super great, man. Body horror checks all the categories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. I mean,
Probably definitive.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch a super charming, way too charming to be like this big nerdy scientist, but super charming, assuming ladies' man, if he got out more often, scientist who's working on an invention that will change the world as we know it.
Are you talking about Ian Malcolm?
Yeah, yeah, the one and only. And he turns himself into a fly a little bit. You know, he's working on it in teleportation. He kind of gets tired of waiting to test the baboon that he didn't turn inside out to make sure that he's all right. So on a drunken, pissed off night, puts himself in this teleportation device. A little fly buzzes in. Hate to see it happen.
Yeah.
And his genes are just spliced with the flies, like on a molecular level. The computer, it's just a stupid computer. It only knows what you tell it to do. And we just watch him morph.
Hey, sorry, that computer's not stupid, man. That computer will do anything in the fly.
Yeah.
You just say
Yeah,
a
for
command,
reals.
it'll just go on full graphic renderings of things that
Dude,
it's never seen before.
I love so much the scene where he's trying to figure out how everything happens. So he essentially just has a conversation with the computer.
Yeah.
Like, what was the other element? The other element was fly. So if the other element was fly, what happened to the fly? The fly was fused.
Yeah.
Classic.
With Seth. What's his last name? What's his scientist's last name? I should have written it down.
McFarlane?
No, it's so funny because he keeps as like you get the psychological aspect along with him morphing physically into this fly over time. It takes over his whole body like a cancer, and that includes like his psyche. And he keeps talking about this idea of like, I'm not Seth anymore. Like I'm the offspring of the fly and Seth.
Wow.
And he sees it in his scientific mind. He sees it happening to him the whole time. Like he even tells the love interest, the reporter that's in his life now, like at the end when he's super messed up, like if you, what I'm trying to say is if you do not leave, like I will hurt you.
I'll
like,
eat you.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I am turning into an animal. Like I'm going to have nothing left but my base instincts. You need to run.
You gotta love that early to mid, I'd say whole 80s representation of technology.
Yeah.
Like they
yeah.
do in The Thing too, where he's just like, what's it called? Who? Blair. Blair is like inputting the info into his supercomputer about how long will this alien virus, take to take over the world, and it tells you the exact down to the second.
Yeah. Computers are going to compute, man.
You just got to talk to them.
Yeah, you just got to talk to them.
And
talk
it's,
to them in their own language.
Treat them like people.
It's Seth Brundle. That's why it's the Brundlefly.
Yeah. Brundlefly. Yeah, he keeps calling himself Brundlefly.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic. And I really like the way they lay the story out. You don't get to any of the brutality right off the bat. It just starts off being this kind of like quirky 80s movie. You don't really know what this scientist is talking about, but you are for sure that this scientist is going to bang this reporter right away. You're like, haha, I know what's going to happen here.
Does she have that April O'Neil hair?
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah. She 100% just looks like April O'Neil because 80s reporter. That's the outfit. What are you going to do? But then when the brutality kicks in, like the morphing starts slow. He just has like the thick hairs on his back and like some sores. And you're like, that's kind of gross. But by the end of this ride, like full on squish fest.
He is a fly.
Yeah, he is just like a fly. You know what I mean? And it reminded me a lot of Thinner by Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the same way, at first, Malcolm is like, this is great. Like, look how strong I am. I have superpowers, essentially. Like, this is dope. Like, the guy in Thinner, he's like, I can do whatever I want, and I'm just going to keep losing weight. He's just full on Bender in that episode where he becomes like a human being.
Yeah, he just starts smoking and drinking everything.
He's just, Last Days of Rome, you know what I mean?
I don't know if I've ever seen the movie Thinner. I've read that book for sure.
Thinner's fun. I wanted to give it an honorable mention. It's like a movie I saw as a little kid and then watched again a year or two back just to see if it was still any good. Still a super fun watch.
1996.
But I even was considering it for the list. If I'm being honest with myself, it's not like top 2 worthy. When we were doing like a top 5, maybe I could get it in there just because of my love for it, like in the 5 slot. But yeah, what are you going to do?
Those Stephen King 90s movies are pretty rocky in quality for sure.
Let's just say he was hitting the slopes.
And not like the quality of Rocky, the film franchise. Very different. Very different vibe.
Very different.
Quite different even. But yeah, man, I love, there were a couple scenes I wanted to shout out specifically. They were just super gross. When Ronnie, the reporter, played by Gina Davis, she finds out she's pregnant and she has this nightmare. You don't know it's a nightmare at the time, but she has this nightmare where she like is giving birth to this thing and it's like this giant squirmy maggot and it's just like screeching. Oh, it's so good.
That
Love
rocks.
It's so good. The way that the fly has he's constantly like vomiting up that enzyme for the food and even almost gets a kill with it in at the end. That's just super gross. The way everything's super goopy. But at the end, the full bodysuit that they do, super fantastic.
Yeah.
They do a good job of showing you like just enough in the light and in the darkness to like keep it looking really real. And I mean, when he finally goes full fly, the way he like sheds his
other
face off
skin.
and
I
everything
love that
just
it just
like
comes out.
Oh, you
Yes,
obviously
man.
get the legs contorting and snapping at the joints, the new joints that you've been waiting for the whole time you're watching the movie. You just want to see like his legs turn the wrong way and stuff. And the way the bug head just comes out of there. Oh, and of course, big spoiler alert. At the very end, when he gets spliced, when he's Brundlefly / door,
Brundlefly door.
dude, that would just how grotesque. Like,
Brundlefly door sounds like a Harry Potter character.
yeah, for reals, it could easily be like one of Dobby's cousins or something.
It's
Brundlefly door.
pretty disgusting. The practical effects are amazing, but it's pretty gross at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's great. I was actually watching this while eating breakfast this morning.
Nice.
And I was like pretty close to the edge, but it honestly takes a lot to gross me out while I'm eating.
You were edging while you were while you were eating
That,
breakfast.
No, that was actually while I was watching my movie in first place.
Perfect.
Good segue.
What was I? Oh man, I was just about to say something, and that definitely threw it out. The Brundlefly / door. Brundlefly door always cracks me up. It's
Dude,
so
it's
funny.
so funny.
It's like, oh no, man, you got a little bit of door stuck in there.
Like things have gotten so bad at this point that this grotesque thing that used to be a brilliant scientist grabs the shotgun and he's like, please, like, kill me. For the love of all things holy, like, put a bullet in my head, please.
And then the scene that I love in The Fly is when he's about to reverse it,
Yeah.
but then the computer just won't pick up his voice anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this computer will do anything except a simple like undo command. Like, can we just undo this real quick? If he had done that a day earlier, he would have been fine. If it had worked,
Yeah.
chances are it would have gooped him all over the place.
Well, he just kept flipping back and forth between like, oh, this is a curse, I have to do something about it. And
Yeah.
then like the disease taking over his mind and him being like, this is the best thing ever. Like he goes like full cult member for a second.
Yeah.
He's like all in. He's like, I am the next evolution.
I
am
more than man.
Do you see?
Yeah, great pick, man. I love The Fly.
Yeah, super fun watch. Go watch it. Go watch it right now. Well, finish listening to this first and then 5-star review and then go watch The Fly.
So that's our first instance of Cronin Daddy on here then.
Cronin Daddy.
Oh, it sounds like he's coming back.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe perhaps.
Stay tuned.
All
Big
right.
things coming.
We'll find out soon enough. David, who do you have in your number one slot?
My number one slot is the 2007 film written and directed by Mitchell Lichtenstein, Teeth.
Oh, nice.
Man.
Vagina Dentata!
Hey.
That guy went there. Dang.
Yeah, man.
I was wondering if someone was going to choose teeth.
I had to get teethy with it, you know?
Had to get a chomp.
Frank, hit us with the numbers. Why not? It makes more sense here.
All right, here we go. I'll just go through the open apps on my phone just super quick. For David's first place pick, Teeth. Made on a budget of $2 million. Had an opening weekend of $29,251, which is not a whole lot.
Really
but luckily,
isn't.
you're going to turn it around. You know, you kept it pretty low with that $2 million. Would turn around to worldwide gross $2,340,110. So if you do the math, they made a profit of $340,110.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Hopefully
Yeah.
that's after advertising.
Probably isn't. Usually,
probably not,
That,
right?
that
Yeah.
stat usually comes before. So, probably didn't make a lot of money off this one.
Probably not. And not a lot of score on IMDb, at least, with a 5.4. But it's gone on to be a cult classic, as you know, with its Rotten Tomatoes score of 80%.
That's a pretty big spread.
That's a pretty big
Yeah,
spread.
quite a difference between the two.
5.4 to 80%. That's pretty crazy. Have you guys seen Teeth before?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Oh, okay, perfect. All right, so Teeth is about Dawn, played by Jess Wexler? Anyway. Dawn is like the...
It's that first part of the day where the sun's just coming up over the
It's always
horizon.
darkest before the dawn. Dawn works for a purity church culty youth recruiting thing. Where
Small tangent. Have you guys been seeing the new wave of shirts? I've seen a lot of the teens wearing them this year. It's like this year's virginity shirt, and it's this blue shirt that says "Virginity rocks."
Get
We're
out of
always
here.
seeing it at Guitar Center.
No.
Yeah.
I got to see this. I'm gonna check this out.
that's sad. Anyway,
Anyway,
It's already on there.
purity culture. Yeah. So just to get it right out of the bat, you know, you're going to get a lot of themes of purity culture, sexual empowerment, sexual, identity, I guess.
probably a little slut shaming.
A little bit of that going on. Very little, actually. There's very few women in this movie.
They
It's mostly just her.
they sell
Very
this
few
shirt.
women, but a lot of teeth.
Sorry to interject. They sell this shirt at Zoomies
What?
Of course they do.
for $29.95.
What?
Is it this teal shirt that says "Virginity Rocks"?
Oh, it's definitely a teal shirt. That's the one. That's the one.
This might even just be like an ironic thing, too. Who knows?
Maybe it seems to be Danny Duncan. I'm assuming that is a skater, so it's probably like a skater's thing. All right, that's
Zoomers.
weird. On this week on Zoomers Are Weird.
Oh, that is interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, Dawn is a very devout young Christian adolescent girl. She's maybe like 17-ish, 16. She has a curse, but maybe a gift. Depends on your interpretation of this movie. Although I think they make it pretty clear she's cool with it by the end. She's got teeth in her vagina, everybody. Let's just say it out loud.
You can't beat around the bush, so to speak.
Exactly. Let's not be nerd. We don't have to create a negative stigma about it. It's just a body part.
Vagina dentata. It's been an idea for centuries, millennia even.
Yes. And basically, when threatened, something that is inside, inserted, if you would, can be bitten off by these teeth that come out from the walls. And they get you like a apple peeler or something.
Like an apple peeler?
Apple slicer,
Oh, okay.
Depends
the
on...
blades in a lawnmower. A garbage disposal.
Like a Venus flytrap.
Well, it's coming from the outside.
Trap.
You know what I mean? A bear trap's a great example.
Hey, there you go.
But it's going clean through. Woo!
Well, not clean.
Yeah, not clean.
It's going through. It's pretty messy.
So, as a man, can something be more horrific than this idea that which we're speaking of? Yes, obviously there's more horrific ideas. But when you think about just like body mutilation, ooh.
Pretty intense.
That's low on like...
I mean, try to think back to all of us being like 16. We hear about this movie. We all like obviously went to go see it because curiosity, or we rented it. We watched it on a couch with some friends. Like how many times did you like, did you just like cringe in the crotch?
Well, that first scene for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were in a scenario where, you had to chop something off.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that.
It's going to be very low.
That'll be the last.
You got to go through a lot of other stuff
But,
first.
chop off
Who
so
needs
many
a
other
nose?
appendages.
Ear, take both of them. But yeah, anyway. So the movie opens up actually with a very uncomfortable scene. That's like the setup for the family dynamic. Don's got a stepbrother, Brad, and the two of them are in a little plastic play pool, and their parents, who aren't married yet, they're just dating. This is like just an early interaction of this family coming together. And he's like, I don't know, 9 maybe or 8, and she's like 5 or something. And they're doing a show me yours kind of scenario. But the scene ends with, Brad doing something and then like holding his finger up, and like the tip of it has been like almost bitten all the way through.
Damn, I wonder what he could have been doing where he got his fingertip bitten off, David.
So fast forward, now Brad is like total douchebag. He's like
Brad would be, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's one of like the worst people ever.
You think he'd learn.
And then I think it also kind of it makes a note, the filmmaker's making a point to kind of, this stigma and shame that Dawn is now carrying around of sex is from a childhood trauma that neither of them actually recall. They're both blocking that out. So anyway, the movie kind of jumps from creepy man to creepy man. It's a really good choice by the filmmaker to not make Dawn a bad person in any circumstance.
Yeah.
It's always like...
She's not like a femme fatale.
No, she's not. Not until the very end.
But you got to make sure that the audience still has empathy for the girl with teeth in her vagina.
Exactly. And it starts off with like this guy who is following along with his purity thing, is like one of her friends from the purity circle, and then he tries to, force himself on her. Doesn't end well for him. Then she goes to a gynecologist who's like super creepy and disgusting. That's where we get the great vagina dentata shouting line. Doesn't end well for him either. And then after that, it's like another boy. It goes on and on for a little bit.
Do you think she should have consulted a dentist as well?
Well, I mean...
Yeah, who do you go to?
She doesn't know for a while what's going on. I think until she's just cool with it. But yeah, I think by the end of the movie, you have a character who is very secluded, has a very negative opinion of this, shameful, regretful, and then at the end, empowered. I think it's a surprisingly empowering movie. Not at all what you would expect about a movie about vagina teeth. But then from the body horror side, I mean, holy crap, man. Like, you think, okay, this movie, you hear the premise, and in your head, you're like, well, they're not going to go all the way. You know what I mean? They're going to show you what's happening. But dude, man,
they're not going to just like spit it out on the ground in front of you for you to see.
No, not only are they spitting it out on the ground, but you see like the gushing stump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is gnarly. You see it multiple times. it's so uncomfortable and gross.
I would be disappointed if they hadn't.
Yeah, if they didn't go all the way, and they do it early. It's like the first time you're like, whoa, what?
Did I just see that?
You're shocked for sure. As far as performances and everything goes, it's a pretty low budget movie. $2 million's
Still looks good.
pretty low budget. It's a good looking movie.
Yeah.
It's well shot. I think Jess Wexler it does a really good job with her role. You can really follow her emotional transitions throughout the movie. First feeling kind of broken after like a rape attempt, and then weak, and then angry. There's so many different emotions that she's going through. She does a really good job with it. Everybody else is okay. I mean, it reminds me of a movie like, I don't know. No, World's Greatest Dad. That'd be mean.
Ooh.
That's not a bad one. I mean, you just, you see those movies where you're like, these actors are doing an okay job.
Yeah.
No one in here is super impressive. No one in here is like incredibly talented. Everyone's serving their purpose. It's a bit cheesy. It's a bit hammy.
Or like the opposite scenario, like a Twister, where you have Bill Paxton playing the lead, and you're like, okay, all right. But then you have what's his face being the funny guy,
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
What a
Thinking,
weird
you're just like, damn, look at him back there killing it. Who made these decisions?
That one hurts more. You know what I
That
mean?
dude could be hilarious when he wanted to.
And
Oh,
also,
yeah.
you stick Bill Paxton in the back.
Yeah.
Give him a couple one-liners. That's where he lives. That's where he thrives.
Give Hoffman the front because he's the best.
Exactly. What's that other movie he plays that really dumb role?
Along Came Polly,
Along Came
dude.
Polly, yeah.
He's the
He's
reason that movie's
hilarious in that
great.
movie, but yeah, it's so stupid. But yeah, that's my number one pick, and I think it's a great watch. It's a fun campy horror watch, but along with it being campy, man, you're going to be grossed out.
I feel like the beauty of it is that it could have been campier, and
Yeah.
that would have been. It just would have been another forgetful film.
Yeah.
Forgettable film.
If they had gone too campy, then I don't think they could have maybe had a message behind it.
They might not have earned that 340,000.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what made or break.
I would hope that
made the day.
they gathered more in the residuals afterwards. I hope.
Who knows? I mean, it's definitely kind of a cultish movie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens with it as it continues to go forward. But
I feel like most
Yeah.
people our age know this movie.
Are the Gen
Yeah.
Zers going to be into teeth? Is that going to be a thing?
Probably it should be. They should remake this movie. I think it would be
Why not?
very timely.
why not hit it one more time?
Yeah.
There you go. There you
Solid.
go. Danny, what do you got? What do you got in those teeth over there?
Show us what you've got.
A chomp.
Wow.
Take a bite out of this one, guys.
I
man.
felt that, honestly.
I forgot to. Sorry, I forgot to put the movie out.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
flash it up there really
Here it
quick,
is.
David.
Awesome, memorable cover too.
Yeah, it's a great cover. It's beautiful. Anyway,
Well,
Hurry up and tell us about Human Centipede already.
Oh, I was gonna say, all right. So I bet you guys are thinking it's gonna be The Thing, and it's not. It is 2011's The Thing. I'm just kidding. It is not. It is not. I'm actually choosing one that is not The Thing, but it is. It's 2006 Slither by James Gunn.
Nice.
dang, I feel like I should just go grab it from the other room.
Oh, what a bunch of idiots.
Sorry. So you guys have seen this movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I love Slither.
I watched a ton of movies leading up to this. Slither was definitely one of them that I
Dude.
sat down and enjoyed on this ride.
Directed and written by one James Gunn, starring Nathan Fillion, Michael Rooker, Greg Henry, and Elizabeth Banks, and Pam Beesly
yeah.
as Shelby.
Who was his wife at the time.
Really?
They used to
What?
be married.
Did
yeah.
not know that.
That's why Pam's in there. Old Pammy.
I did not know that at all.
And
I
don't
thought
call
she
me
just
Pammy.
liked answering phones.
Can I just bring up that I'm very let down that Frank didn't hit the gunshot when you said James Gunn.
Dang.
I was gonna ask Danny again who.
Well, you know who else was in it?
Because as soon as he walked past it, I was like, I suck at my job.
That's okay because you know who else stars in it?
Who?
Sean Gunn. There you go.
Yeah, tee him up one. Put one on the old tee.
Alley-oop.
Thank you, Danny. Can you give me one underhanded?
This movie is pretty great. I watched this film for the first time. The reason I chose this film is because I watched it the first time with one of my best friends, Andrew McMillan, at his house. This was in like the heyday of Redbox, like coming around and stuff. We were just like looking at the Redbox one day, really bored, and we were like, what is this? Let's watch it. And we watch it, and it ends up having some of the funniest lines in cinema I've ever heard, and all of them come from the mayor. And it's like
Who's just like a perfect horror movie sleazeball.
dude, he's amazing.
Like from his first scene.
Martians from space.
Martian is a general term. Look it up.
Which also the mayor, I think, is what calls back to The Thing. I mean, there's a lot of callbacks to The Thing in this film. I mean, it's definitely paying homage to it. But I mean, the mayor's name is John McCready. And
That's right.
there's a lot of it. But first, before we get into it, let's hit those numbers.
Number time. Made on a budget of $29.5 million. Would go on to earn $3.8 million opening weekend and turn around $12.8 million.
Wow. It was considered a box office flop.
That is a bit of a
Yeah.
flop. A good bit of a flop.
And isn't this his first directorial? Is this like his first theatrically released?
I think this is his first horror movie and big theatrical release. Definitely put him on.
Sorry. I'm realizing I interrupted the ratings here.
That's okay. I got him ready to go. Scored a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb with an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, yeah, that's
87,
definitely good.
man.
That's
87.
a solid
That's pretty
rating for it. I mean, there was a lot of controversy when this movie was coming out. I mean, this is the early days of the internet, but too many people were pointing out similarities and plot points to like the 1986 horror comedy Night of the Creeps, which I've never seen.
Oh, okay.
And so like a lot of people were in uproar about that, saying it's a ripoff and stuff. People don't know what an homage is.
Or a homage for that matter.
Or a homage. But also Roger Ebert, who was alive at the time, and Richard Roeper gave Slither a, quote, 2 thumbs down on their television show.
Wow.
Pretty rude.
However,
pretty rude dudes.
this was due to Roeper saying they were all zombied out after reviewing a wave of zombie-themed films from the year before. This is 2006. This is in the heat of like zombie film. Everything coming out is like a zombie film. You got the
I
success
feel
of Dawn of the Dead.
I'm uncomfortable qualifying this one as a zombie film. It's
No.
like not even close enough to an infection for me because it's like a hive mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a parasite.
Parasite.
So, but I mean, there is a zombie-like quality to it in that they are, like they're drones, if you will, but they do resurrect from the dead in a way.
And also, like, suck it up, Roger Ebert. There's not even that many zombie movies. There's like Dawn of the Dead,
Shaun of the
28
Dead.
Days Later, Shaun of the Dead, 3 bangers.
Yeah. I'm sure like
There's got to be some bad
didn't that
ones
like
I'm
Cold
forgetting.
Bodies or something come out or Warm
Warm
Bodies?
Bodies is way later than 2005. Yeah, because that
I
would be
don't know.
2005. Yeah, Warm Bodies is like 2012 or something.
Huh.
Anyway,
I mean, there was a lot to say about that. They were wrong, obviously. I love this
for
movie
real.
because
We give them 2 thumbs down. How
yeah,
about that?
sorry.
let me just read a little synopsis there. I mean, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple premise. An alien parasite crashes from space in a small South Carolina town. Chaos ensues. Michael Rooker, or Merle, plays Grant, a solitary and crotchety old wealthy man.
Grant.
Yeah, he plays Grant.
Yeah, his name is Grant. Gotta love that gun humor. Is a wealthy man who becomes like the primary host for the parasite. He married like a young starlet named, I mean, I don't even remember her name. Starla. Actually, I think her name is Starla.
Yeah,
Starla
her name
Grant.
is Starla.
Yeah. She was like the belle of the town and stuff like that. And he kind of like is very protective over her. So he becomes the host for the parasite, and his only drive from that point, from the parasite's point of view, is to multiply. So he infects like virtually 95% of the town, and Nathan Fillion, aka the sheriff, has to figure out how to stop it with a motley crew of other officers and the like.
Yeah.
Who are also all pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great supporting
the
cast.
comic delivery in this movie is just so perfect, and that's just part of James Gunn's MO. You know what I mean? Even in movies like the Belko Experiment,
Yeah, solid comedy in the Belko experiment.
like the timing is just perfect in it.
He's got really good timing, man. Like
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Suicide Squad, they're all just really tightly run ships.
It's kind of like what's his name that does the Cornetto trilogy? Last Night in Soho.
Hard cuts.
Garrett. No, what's his name?
Henry
Dang.
Double Trousers. Yeah,
we did a
did a whole ranking.
Edgar
Yeah.
Wright.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar
Okay, yeah. I'm
Wright.
sorry. Anyone listening, I'm sorry. That's like a cardinal sin. We forgot his name. We did a whole ranking.
You
for
know,
him.
somebody's out there like
Just wow.
screaming Edgar Wright.
Posers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like that in that regard, where he can delve into all these different genres, but you can tell his signature filmmaking from his tone. You know what I mean? Gunn also stated
the actors present.
Oh yeah, if Sean Gunn's in it, you know it's a James Gunn joint. That's the only work he can get. James Gunn stated that his influences were Cronenberg's Shivers, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And one of the great mangakas, Junji Ito's Uzumaki,
Oh, nice.
about a town obsessed with spirals that turns into a body horror extravaganza. Which
Yeah, too bad we don't have a really good movie of that. You know what I mean? That'd be... Because there's some Junji Ito movies, but you were telling me they were very good, right?
No, they're good. The anime adaptations, you know, the thing is the anime adaptations of them aren't necessarily the whole books, because he's got like 3 very notable books, like Uzumaki and the other 2, which I can't recall off the top of my head. But the animes are like his short stories that get adapted into like 15-minute animes.
Yeah.
And they're really, some of them are really good.
I wonder if they would even translate to like a live action adaptation. That might not work. I don't know.
That would be really cool, because I mean, some of the
there is
creations
one.
he's
I'll
got
have to check it out.
are awesome. If you have a Funimation subscription, check out the Junji Ito collection. It's super cool. There's some real creepy ones, and there's some dumb ones, but hey, you know, there's one there and there's one here. But yeah,
My
man.
Funimation and subscription just ran out too. How unfortunate.
Dang, I'm sure it did. Just sorry to derail anymore, but there is a live action Uzumaki adaptation, Spiral, not the Chris Rock
Interesting.
one.
Oh,
It's from the year 2000. It's got
Is it Japanese?
6.2. It's Japanese, dog.
Okay,
I mean, it could be awful, but
I'm
maybe
gonna have to check it out.
CLE coming soon, right after Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Part 2, times another time. Once upon a time.
Thrice upon a time.
As far as body horror goes, like I said, this one has a lot of in like with The Thing. But I mean, you get the classic like breeder version of the alien that's just giant and filled with like these maggots and stuff.
Looks like a Garbage Pail Kid, kind of.
Yeah, that's true. Grant turns into like this disgusting looking worm-like creature with like tentacles coming out of him, and his body can morph to different weapons.
Every like stage you get of Grant is super dope, because
Yeah.
you get him like super grotesque, still kind of human. Then he keeps like popping away for a little while, and every time he comes back, you're just like, oh Jesus Christ!
And at the end of it, you get like the straight up villain that's at the end of every Resident Evil game.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Worm-like thing with eyes that's just like slashing around. Gotta shoot it. Barely any ammo around.
I love the like hordes of drones like all making their way towards them, and the way they just kind of plop themselves and absorb into the giant being.
Oh yeah, at
the way they
end.
just kind of take off all their clothes and then just melt into it.
Yeah.
Super gross.
There's actually a scene, well, the one that's on the cover of Slither, that it looks like the cover of Teeth, where it's like and they even have a little bit of like what's it called, like the scenery of like the little worm-like creature floating in the water towards the girl. But it's super fun. It's gross. It's definitely a gross out movie, but in a very intentionally campy but not too silly way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the little slugs look like big fat slobbery tongues. So when they're like hanging out of people's mouths, they just look super gross flopping around.
Plus, you get Nathan Fillion, dude. I mean, and he crushes it in this movie too,
as he's gonna do.
The pacing is just fantastic. I mean, you don't even have to invest that much to watch this movie. Like, you'll like it. I guarantee you'll like it. You're gonna like the way you look.
We're out of business.
Wow.
What about you, Frank? What's your toppers?
Well, that's a fantastic topper, Danny. I just want to say that before we get into it. Secondly, if you're still hanging around, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
I felt it. I felt it in the air. It was coming.
Hit that quick plug really quick as I'm scrolling through my notes. 1982 is The Thing.
There it is.
You thought we weren't going to talk about The Thing today? Get out of here.
You got double
stupid
thing.
idiots.
Bum, bum.
8.8 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
Still too low.
And an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. With its 109-minute runtime. Similar to my runner-up, also made on a budget of $15 million. I guess that's how much it took to make a horror movie, body horror movie in the 80s.
Yeah. $15 million bucks.
That's the budget.
You give me $15 million bucks, I'm gonna give you something real gross.
Yeah, I could do it. Well, I'm no John Carpenter, but I could probably do something all right with 15 million. You know what I mean? Just throw money at that problem.
I'll figure something
I'll
out.
do something fun with the 10 million, and with the 5 million, I'll make a really great movie.
Yeah, super low budget. Opening weekend of $3,107,897, and a worldwide gross of $19,632,053.
Shout out to our previous podcast, Box Office Showdown, which had The Thing versus Blade Runner.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the numbers of The Thing at this point, shoot us an email and I'll mail you a handwritten note or something.
What? It didn't do well? What? I wonder why.
What else could have been going on in those surrounding weekends?
Oh, man. I hope this didn't affect John Carpenter personally. Shoot, I've never heard of this movie before.
So obviously, how much more can we gush about The Thing?
Yeah.
It is fantastic through and through.
You know what? We are going to, though.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. Since last time it showed up.
Yeah.
I'll bet you before I'll bet you before this month is over. We're gonna
Oh, baby. But there's a reason why we have to keep bringing it up, because
It's so good.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this before we started recording. I was like, okay, this is a legitimate quest. You know what I mean? We're scientific here at the channel.
Yeah.
We're very serious people. We take this very seriously.
I own a beaker.
Yeah, obviously. So we, and it's not just for cooking meth. So I watched a good handful of body horror movies, just stuff I haven't seen yet, stuff I have seen but haven't seen in a while.
I mean, those are always
I
good.
couldn't watch things that haven't come out yet. You know what I mean? Because that's just logistically impossible. But it just made me laugh at the end of this long journey. I was like, all right, so I got The Thing in number 1. So that's what I'm watching today. And we'll put Fly in number 2. Here we go.
Boom.
But yeah, man, there's just so many memorable creatures and sounds. The added horror of the isolation obviously is always a strong thing. Just being out there in Antarctica, as Windows says over and over again, like, what do you mean context? We're the only ones out here. Who do you want me to talk to on the radio? We're in Antarctica, bro. Nobody's around.
You're so isolated that you're mad at the computer for beating you at chess.
Yeah. Destroying valuable equipment.
That computer that can tell you everything.
Yeah, and that brings us to McCready, like the unwilling hero of the whole thing. Like he would much rather be doing something else.
Like
and it's
drinking
very
scotch.
clear. Yeah, he'd much rather be drinking scotch and being better at chess. The entire cast and crew, you know what I mean? Everybody does a great job of acting like, oh, I'm not the one, until they're like, I'm the one. Oh.
Talk about like the best ending too.
Yeah. If I was thinking about that as it was wrapping up today. Like, I was just kind of sitting there through the credits, just like, man, like, I wonder what they talked about. Like, what was the next thing they talked about as they were out there sipping whiskey? You know what I mean? It's like, I really don't like you very much, Childs. I have to be honest.
And I love that there's still that paranoia after all of that. Like, there's still no concedence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
McCready has that line where he tells Childs, well, if either one of us has a surprise for the other one, I don't think we're in any shape to do anything about it now.
Yeah.
Might as well just sit here until it stops being warm and then we'll die.
That's what it sounds like. That's something The Thing would say. That's all that sounds like.
You get fantastic red herrings. Like the whole time you're like, is it McCready though?
Yeah.
Which is super fun. And yeah, man, just I feel like the visual effects in The Thing, they hit you really hard the first time you see them. Like, everything is super grotesque, especially the long slow shots where they're doing like the autopsies and stuff with the doctor. The way everything just squishes so much as
The
he's pulling out
steam
organs.
that's coming off of it and stuff too.
Also, like that the doctor doesn't just like take out the organs and look at them, but he has to like thumb them a little bit and squish them around.
I
That's
like
a nice
when
little touch.
he's I mean, obviously that scene where he's about to give him like the jumpers and his hands just go through the chest and just Venus flytraps on him.
I wanted to mention that scene when we were talking about vagina dentata, but I didn't want to give my hand away 100%. You know what I mean?
Go.
Oh yeah.
Keep that poker face up.
When we were like, oh, like I was like a man's chest.
Like a man's chest lined with teeth.
And that scene where like the head just starts melting off. It's like, ah!
Yeah,
falls down.
That's one of the coolest parts about the thing. Like every particle of the organism acts as its own organism, and they're all working towards the one goal. So
that's like a unique aspect of the thing, and the blob. You know what I mean? Like they kind of have that in common. They're both a parasite or like an alien organism, but they work towards, what's the word? When it's singularity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like a hive.
That's their goal is singularity. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, The Thing. My goodness,
Great movie.
Hey, you guys ever heard of The Thing?
Yeah, right. The Thing is so good. I'm not even offended at all the dogs that die. You know what I mean? It's upsetting. The most upsetting one is when he shoots that dog in the chest with a shotgun. But the Thing already had that dog. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't a dog anymore.
Favorite Thing monster.
The dog. The first
dog
one.
monster,
I mean, it's so gross.
It is pretty grotesque.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
First time you watched that movie? My goodness.
I like the one, I can't remember the character's name, but they're interrogating and one thing just happened. Actually, it is the scene where the hands go through the chest and stuff through the jumpers, but
You're talking about Palmer, the guy in the jean vest?
Yes.
Yeah, when he does like the
when he's just like,
long head. Yeah, it's pretty good.
freaking out. Yeah.
He jumps up onto the ceiling
Untie me!
a la The Fly.
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
quick second.
Yeah.
Does like a weird exorcist thing. I really like a spider head. I feel like
heck
spider
yeah.
head breaks
Great,
off
man.
and it's just
With the little eyes that come out of it.
I
Oh
really
my
like
God.
spider head a whole bunch.
That's good.
Best John Carpenter film. I'm going on record saying that right now.
I might have to agree with you.
Yeah. Second to Halloween, I think.
Ooh.
Find out on our John Carpenter ranking coming at you next year.
Sometime. Yes.
Or maybe the year after
It's a
that.
lot of 19 movies, man.
And some of them are real stinkers. Well, before we move on, can I just throw out some good old not recommendations.
Yes, can we do honorable mentions?
Honorable
'Cause I had
mentions.
a couple shout outs.
That's what I'm thinking of. Obviously we've got the Saw series, good and bad. You guys ever seen Martyrs?
No.
2008. Pretty messed up movie. It is a foreign film, I think. It is a foreign film, but it's there's this mad scientist guy or something like that who has this thing where he beats people to within an inch of life and tortures them within an inch of life so that they can feel the afterlife. They can experience the afterlife before they die.
Huh. Okay.
And it's very torturous. It's very gory. Really cool though.
Very interesting. Is this something he does to people like unwittingly, or is this
No,
a
they
service
volunteer.
that he offers?
Or he kidnaps some people, and then sometimes they volunteer.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Also, I would recommend American Mary. You guys ever seen American Mary?
No. Although
I
that
know
sounds
Lebanese
familiar.
Mary.
Oh, she's also American, I think.
Yeah.
American Mary is just like a failed surgical student. She has to pay her way through med school, and so she starts doing body mod surgery on the black market.
Sick.
I've heard
And
about
it's
this.
pretty crazy. And then my last recommendation would be 1992's Peter Jackson's Brain Dead.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Although it's a zombie movie, but it's got enough body specific stuff.
It
to
is
count.
that fine line because sometimes
There's a lot of
zombie is
crossover.
considered body horror.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Well, it's about the violation of the human form. So yeah, it counts.
And that movie's disgusting.
Yeah,
Frank, you would
movie's
love
so
that
gross.
movie, dude.
I love it.
I might could get into that.
It's in
Yeah.
YouTube. I think it's on YouTube.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
I like YouTube.
Dead Alive or Brain Dead.
That's right.
That's what it's called.
I
Where
think
you're
it would
at,
be Brain Dead on YouTube.
probably.
But yeah. Honorable Rex. And just really quick, anime Rex that are body horror, I would say.
Oh wow.
Obviously,
A lot of them, really.
there are quite a few. I was having trouble when I had to think right away, but I mean, off the top of my head, we got like Attack on Titan.
I was just gonna ask, could you qualify Attack on Titan as body horror? Because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like a grosque mutation of
I guess.
it, kind of, and also the horror of like your body could just be squished at any moment.
I mean, when you
Yeah.
guys get into the later seasons, you'll see it gets very body horror.
Interesting.
We've also got a new one called Jujutsu Kaisen, which is recently adapted from a manga. A lot of body horror there. We also got Berserk. I don't know if you've ever seen Berserk.
Yeah.
And Parasite, the Maxim, which is
Yeah.
essentially the thing. But
it's a lot of the thing. Is a lot of the thing.
Dragon Ball Z. No, I'm just joking.
Did you have some honorable mentions you wanted to
Tenchi
hit,
Muyo.
David?
No.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just get into it. So I wanted to give a shout out to Bug, the Michael Shannon movie,
Dude,
which
I
I
was
feel
just
like
thinking of that.
couldn't get on the list because I feel like the scale leans too much towards psychological horror.
Yeah.
See, that's
just goes a little bit too far.
That's why I didn't pick the first Men in Black too. Same reason.
Exact
It was really close.
dude, that movie is so underrated.
Dude, that movie's so dope. And it's super intimate, super just you're like essentially in one house the whole time, and you kind of go crazy with Michael Shannon the whole time. It's dope.
Delusion and paranoia. It's crazy. Man.
Just watch it with all the lights off. You start to feel a little nuts. Shout out to Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor, which is not what I thought it was going to be, and that is a super cool.
I'm glad you watched that movie.
Yeah, that was tight, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that way more than I thought I was going to, honestly, from like the trailer. I was like, well, this could be good. Let's give it a shot. Super dope. And I feel like I had another one that at this moment I'm forgetting right now. So shout out to movies in general.
Wow. Okay. All
Hey,
of them.
have you guys heard of movies? Do you like watching them?
How about three friends talking about them? Perfect. You don't have any honorable mentions?
Nah, not
Okay.
really. I said the ones I wanted.
Well, how about?
You guys covered most of the other ones, to be honest.
It's a very
that it would have
David
been.
decision, yeah.
I mean, this is
good.
definitely like one of the channel's favorite like genres. I'd say.
I like well, I feel like
I don't like zombies
I
that
feel like
much.
you have to draw a line at some point. Like, when does body horror just become gore porn? You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
feel like Hostel
Saw.
is on the line of like gore porn for sure.
You know, to me, there is something about like The Fly seems more legit than The Thing because in The Fly, it's a character. Well, how do I describe it? It's a character who's undergoing that body transformation, whereas The Thing, when we see the grotesque body, it's really an alien shifting its form. You know what I mean?
But he is violating the human
Yes,
form in
he
a way,
is.
you know what I mean?
But for me, if I was going to go like strict body horror, it would have to involve a knowing character's like coming to terms with the transformation of their body.
Like a mutation.
So I might not even count teeth in that matter then, but I would count Evil Dead.
But you did make me think of another honorable mention, that one episode of Goosebumps with the mask. With the,
That would
the
be
kid can
body
get the
horror.
mask off of
Yeah.
their face.
Bum 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 bum.
and
yeah.
they chase her out of
Yeah,
the store.
dude.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
one's-
one, man.
Yeah, that is a creepy one still. Good recommendation.
Good recommendations over here.
Speaking about recommendations,
It's it's Frank's episode.
Shut your mouth, you stupid idiot.
first I
That-
take your numbers, then I take your segues.
It's time for. No, we're just doing recommendations today. No, that's interesting. So did we have any non-body horror recs? What are you guys watching? What should people check out right now?
Am I going first? Who's going first?
You go first.
Okay. Well, man, I'm going to go fast because I feel like I've watched a ton of stuff recently.
Speed round?
Yeah, speed round. Okay. Finish Yu Yu Hakusho. Dope. Holds up. Better than watching Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
Watch Yu
by a
Yu
mile.
Hakusho.
Yeah.
If you saw it when you were younger and you're like, is it still going to be good? Yes, it is. Invincible. Watched the first episode. I was like,
Oh, you're watching it.
I finished it. It's great.
It's amazing,
It's
dude.
great. It's a good
Oh my
time.
god, that ending.
Robert Kirkman can write a story. The man knows what he's doing.
Well,
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, speaking of Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead. Wow, this last season's been insane. I want Negan to kill everyone. That's what I want. I caught up on some movies, some superhero movies. I saw Venom,
oh, did you?
body horror. Pretty good. Pretty good. I enjoyed Venom.
I'm
It
gonna
was
go
cool.
see the new one. You want to go see it?
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, totally.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, you don't need to watch the first one.
The Spider-Man,
really don't.
Spider-Man's part of the movie superhero whatever universe it is. Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Kind of.
Something like that.
Spider-Man is.
I like Spider-Man. I like the Spider-Man universe.
There's no Spider-Man in Venom,
No.
but maybe Venom will be in Spider-Man.
Is it still Tom Hardy though?
It is.
Yeah,
I like Tom Hardy.
And you got some.
Does dude hang dong though?
Maybe in Venom 2, we'll find out.
All right. If not, I'll just watch Bronson afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to say, not
There
like
you go.
Bronson.
Shazam, cool movie. Cool movie, Shazam.
I thought you were thinking about Kazam. I'm sorry. When you said it, I was like, a little caught off guard there.
Shazam.
I didn't take you for a Shaquille O'Neal fan.
No, the one with, what's his face?
Zach something.
Yeah.
Sinbad.
Sinbad, yeah. The one where Sinbad's
Did you say Shaquille O'Neal?
No, I said Sinbad.
when he's a genie.
Yeah.
Shazam. Great film. My biggest recommendation, though, is go play Stardew Valley. It's amazing. And that's it.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice, Rex.
That's everything I've been watching.
I'm going to go through it quick as well. I watched this in 3 days, and it's amazing. It's called Squid Game. It's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
It is a Netflix original, but it's a South Korean film. It's got a dub, so if you're stupid and can't read subs, you can...
Or speak Korean.
Stupid idiot. Can't speak Korean.
The dub's not bad, but great show. It's kind of like your typical... What's the word I'm looking for? It's like
Battle Royale.
Yeah, it's like a battle royale. Yeah, you've seen the trailers for it, right?
I was reading something today that they're saying it might be the most popular or most successful Netflix series ever,
Dude, it's amazing.
which is kind of crazy.
Interesting.
Really good. Goes way further of a concept than you think it's going to. I also watched on Hulu, a Hulu original, 9 Perfect Strangers with Nicole Kidman and a bunch of people actually in it. Really good drama series, but also you get hooked in. What else did we finish lately? Go watch Chernobyl. I've watched it for like the 4th time. HBO's Chernobyl.
There you go.
I've only ever had the one watch of Chernobyl, but it might be time again. That's a really good series.
It's that time of the year.
Is it like the anniversary of Chernobyl or
Yeah, I was
something?
going to say. To have your reactor meltdown, everyone knows.
Also, I highly recommend getting caught up with Attack on Titan. It is on one of the biggest cliffhangers anyone can imagine, and it's just this series for me. Like I kind of lost interest in season 2, and then it just skyrocketed. Like from season 3 on, I was just like, "You got me. What happens? Tell me."
All right.
Nice Rex.
Watch.
Pretty sick Rex.
Yeah,
I guess that means it's my turn.
I think so.
I'm going to start off up top with a body horror that I forgot to mention. I know I asked for non-body horror Rex, but I guess technically I asked you for non-body horror Rex, so I can do whatever I want. Eraserhead. That was a first watch for me.
Yeah.
Ooh, gives you the heebie-jeebies right in the gut, man.
That's a weird movie, bro.
Yeah. I had a super dope time watching that movie, and by dope time, I was like questioning my sanity and whether or not I was gonna be able to sleep at night and not just have questions and just think way too hard. Super fun time. Thank you, David Lynch, for that one. Besides that, I've pretty much just been watching the Paranormal Activity series like the week before this last one. And then this week I was just watching body horror movies to get ready for this.
Yeah.
Besides that, I am enjoying this current season of Wu-Tang and American Saga. I don't know what channel it comes on. I watch it on Hulu when they release it.
Yeah.
Show's pretty all right. Can't stop watching it. After every episode, I'm like, give me the next one, please.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun time. Yeah, and watching Golden Girls, not as much as I should be, but
Criminally low.
God,
You slacking.
Golden Girls. Yeah,
Slacking, dog.
I'ma be slacking, but very much looking forward to all the horror that will be watched in the next 30 to 90 days,
Wow.
depending on how
Heck yes.
hard we go.
Whoa. All the way to Christmas.
Yep.
I like that idea.
Celebrate Halloween until the 24th.
Real quick, there's another new Mike Flanagan joint on Netflix that y'all should be watching called
yeah.
Midnight Mass. It is slow, kind of like Bly Manor, but not as fairy tale-y. You'll dig it. It's creepy. I like it. It's
Nice.
short.
Flanagan. Doesn't let you down.
Indeed.
Dude's pretty great. Actually, I can't wait to do a ranking of his stuff.
The Flanagan.
The Flanagan Janigan?
I was trying to rhyme it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, we'll figure. We have time.
Okay, we
have
got
time to figure it out.
We'll get it by the ranking.
We'll send it to the name department. They'll figure it out.
I.e. me.
Well, folks, I believe, unless anybody is anybody still even just a little bit wreck? No? Okay, we'll move on.
Wreck.
Yeah.
It's time for Peeps and Predicts. Everyone's
Frank, I don't want everyone else to know, but you skipped a segment.
Danny, put those jars back. It's time for Character Limit Extended. A super clippy version of Character Limit Extended. And this week we'll be talking about, if my memory serves me correctly, Malignant.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm so
Body
ready.
I was like,
horror.
damn, what was that last movie we Character Limit exceeded? It kind of sucked. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
This is kind of a momentous occasion because I just brought this up as like a spur of the moment on the last podcast and was like, this movie sucks. Can't wait to rip it apart. And then we ended up reviewing it. Now we get to
Yeah.
rip it apart again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been the best experience of this whole Malignant project is dunking on it. Because it was really bad. I really wanted to like this movie. We watched... I had the Hemingway, right?
No, I had
the
the
Chirp. Danny,
Yeah.
why don't you give us your gist here?
Well, my caveat is that I have dunked on this movie a lot and on record for this podcast. Y'all know why I hate it. Let's go to you guys.
There we
I
go.
say count it. Nailed it.
There we go.
So, yeah, I guess that brings it to me. As I was saying, I really enjoyed the opening sequence. The opening sequence started. I looked at David and I went, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, we were
and
ready.
I was so prepared to just like tell Danny why he's wrong and stupid that I was really looking forward to that.
Y'all are just waiting for that Warriors redemption.
Dude, yeah, I just wanted to be like, damn, Danny, you're dumb. You don't like good movies.
That'll happen again soon.
That movie's not a good movie. It's every chance you give it, it's just going to turn around and dump on you, just dump right on your chest with its shitty CGI and its shitty actors and its shitty plot points.
That's a lot of bleep.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on there.
yeah, man, I can't say enough about how much I don't recommend watching this movie.
What about you, Dave?
You know, I have the book report, so I already said a whole bunch about this. All I'm going to say is I think there's going to be a lot of people who really enjoy this movie who were kind of behind how it feels so disjointed, but in a way that it would be exciting for some people, I think, and comedic.
Disjointed in the way that like your limbs are going the wrong direction,
Yeah.
so you kind of have to dislocate some stuff.
Yeah, that's the only way you can walk backwards that fast.
You might enjoy this movie better if you watch it from reverse.
Maybe. But no, I mean, I think especially people who are into like 70s horror, Italian horror, a lot of like exploitation kind of stuff, Grindhouse. I could see people getting into it because of that. For me, it's just I don't really find most of it funny as much as it's just like unbearable.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're into it, go for it. It's just like too tonally all over the place for me. Like it's got those moments at the beginning where it does feel very 70s horror. Then there's parts where it feels like almost a James Wan parody, like he's making fun of his own movies. But then we get into stuff where it feels like it's a Matrix movie, and then I don't even know. You know, it's all over the place. I think it's worth watching, maybe just to have your own opinion.
Yeah.
on it.
Form your own.
That's the only reason I would say to check it out, because I think it's an interesting release. Just to think of this guy who's been putting out, you know, Conjuring, Insidious, Saw, and now like the weirdest movie
Fast and Furious.
has been released in a long time. I don't know, but did I enjoy it? No. Would I watch it again? Definitely not. But maybe you'll like it. I'm not sure.
Okay, a couple points here. The most annoying thing about this movie to me is that you're right. There are people who might put it in the camp and say that it is intentionally made to be like that, and I think that's just objectively wrong. I don't think
so?
I don't think it was intentionally made to be ironic, comedic, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Another thing about it is, I mean, this was James Wan's recently made wife's first film.
Yeah, there's a bit of nepotism kind of
There's
stuff
some
going
nepotism.
on.
They put themselves as characters in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's you can just tell, like, okay, he was just like, yeah, babe, I got you. I'll make
This
a
is
movie.
like when
You know what I mean?
John Lennon puts out songs with Yoko Ono. You're like, oh.
Oh, and this wasn't worth like wasting characters on for the review, but Kakao is a stupid name.
Very dumb name.
Kakao is a dumb name.
It just doesn't seem believable.
Even to shorten it with the fake Wanda Sykes character, calling him Kek all the time. And
But
Kek.
you telling me that like you're naming your guy Kakoa and Kek and not like a little winky at it, you know what I mean? Or like the jail scene.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? When that really starts to kick off, it's like I don't know if he can't be completely unaware of what's going on.
That it's dumb.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like it's so dumb. Even things like the we were talking about it before we did the reviews, but like the 70s like hooker,
the stereotypical like
yeah,
the blaxploitation
yes,
femme
some
lead.
of that stuff is like, okay, he has to know. You know, they didn't just pick this costume or something. I don't know. It's so bizarre. It's just bizarre.
It is a hugely bizarre film.
Even the like butchy looking chick, she looked like a lady
Yeah.
out of an 80s film.
Yeah.
She looks like the carnival worker that Steve Martin has the romance with in The Jerk.
And
yeah.
she looks like Charlize Theron in Monster.
That's hilarious. Wow.
I think in the future, I dare say in maybe like 10 years down the road, we'll watch this movie just to get a laugh out of it. You know what I mean?
I think it might even be a cult classic. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think there might be some people, but I feel like it wasn't advertised very well. It was a bit misleading, like almost like as a practical joke or something. But if you do check it out, just don't go in thinking you're going to watch The Conjuring. You have to go in thinking you're going to watch like.
You're not even going to
Like-
watch like The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
No.
Yikes.
You know what though? I might like this movie better than Conjuring 3.
Yeah. I could at least laugh. I can have a reaction that's not boredom in this.
Although, man, this movie's pretty boring at times too. So, you know, I'm really on the fence about this one. I want to know what you think. Okay, go watch it.
Please.
HBO Max. If you hate it, after 30 minutes, just turn it off. But if you get through it, I want to know what your opinions are.
If we're wrong to you, like, tell us why. I want to
Yeah,
hear your
curious.
point of view. Comment below. Send us at uninformedmoviereviews@gmail.com. Like, I want to know your justification for this movie.
Yeah, maybe we'll be like, I didn't think of it that way. Or maybe we'll be like, no, you're wrong.
Delete.
Yeah. Probably be both.
Wow, you're dumb. Unsubscribe.
Well, I guess that is Malignant.
Yeah, that's Malignant. Cut out the cancer.
Ba-doom.
Get it
It's
like
time to cut out the
because it's like a tumor. It's like a tumor. Or like a weird interpretation of that movie Twins.
Wow.
Peeps and Predicts time.
Yay.
Everybody's favorite very real debate segment where we take two characters or people, be they fictional or real, and then we see who's going to come out on top on whatever situation is awaiting them in the other jar, the green jar, if you will.
And who is our champ?
Ed Picerni from Ed TV.
The unlikely
What
hero.
is going on? Like, this guy's in here too long. And he literally does nothing but a chicken dance.
Better than the Nazi.
He just chicken dances his way out of situations.
I guess so. Okay, so today we're talking about, here are our peoples. Just get you that ASMR experience.
I'm going to start setting up the SM7B just for the paper unwraps.
This one was
What a huge waste of resource.
this one was really stuck together. Obi-Wan versus Anakin.
Huh.
Star Wars
How
Day.
long has that been in there?
Since Star Wars Day.
Crazy.
That's a long time.
Their predict.
Their prediction.
Who would still look pretty? Who would still look pretty hot after aging terribly on an old island?
Dude, I mean, Ewan McGregor, man.
He still looks
Ewan
hot.
McGregor
Yeah.
looks great, dude.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I feel like he's going to continue to age well.
yeah.
He's going to look like the most interesting man in the world, but like instead of salt and pepper, like strawberries and cream, I guess. What do you call a redhead when they get gray hair?
I don't know. But if you look at him like as a young guy, he's kind of goofy looking. He's, if anything, gotten more attractive and distinguished.
Yeah, that'll
And
happen.
He looks like a I'm still trying to think, Frank.
Jesus.
Jesus. Man, I can't think of a good word, but yeah.
I mean,
get what you're going for.
He just
It'll be
finished.
like debonair.
Debonair, yeah.
He just finished filming the Obi-Wan series too,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be dope. I think.
And I think Hayden Christensen's going to be back in it too as Vader
Oh man,
for something.
I'll bet he's gonna look worse than Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah. Oh, he does.
Yeah.
You could look him up
I
side
actually
by
don't
side.
know what he looks like right now. I'm not gonna have to do a quick
Tell
little Google
us,
here.
is he hot?
He looks like
Hot or not?
if he looks like someone's dad who's like a day trader.
He's hot, but would you do him?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
So while Frank's looking that up, we're just gonna go ahead and agree that Ewan McGregor,
I think Ewan McGregor or Obi-Wan
Yeah.
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Who
Yes.
even Alex Guinness, or is it Mick Guinness? Alex Guinness.
I like Guinness.
Good looking guy too. Good looking guy.
Good looking drink. Our next predict. Is he hot, Frank?
Well, the thing is, sometimes you Google an actor's name and they're like, "Yeah, you remember from this movie,
Yeah.
like 15 years ago?" I'm
Remember
like, no,
Attack-
I want to look what he looks like right now.
You want to know his astrological
Then you
sign?
have to add the year.
Now.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't look terrible, but
Let me see this.
He just looks like a guy.
Oh, he does not
He's no
look good.
Ewan
He does
McGregor.
not look good.
No, he just
He looks old.
like that could just be the guy in front of me at the Starbucks drive-thru.
exactly.
Dang. That's awful.
Could have been you.
Could have been you.
Our next predict. Who has a better chance of preventing the third impact?
Wow.
An Evangelion reference.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, first off, who can prevent the third impact? It doesn't seem like anyone.
You think Gendo could
Seems
have?
pretty tough.
Gendo wants the third impact.
He wants it, yes. Depending on your timeline. No,
You think Goku could have stopped the third impact?
no way. Goku would have got splatted a long time ago. He'd be busy running around Spirit World, not doing anything. Shoot, man. I mean, I feel like Obi-Wan is just more capable
Yeah.
than Anakin.
Less
Anakin-
whiny too.
Anakin's all thumbs, if we're being real.
Yeah.
The only thing he's good at is killing kids.
Yeah. What is he really?
And that's really just like a height advantage, like a height and skill advantage. That's the only reason he slaughtered them all. Like if those kids were a little bit older, they might have been able to take them down.
I think he was the only one in the room with the lightsaber, too.
Yeah, it's not even fair. You don't even give him the little baby lightsabers to try and put up a fight. Seems rude, really.
Some
They
slingshots
should
or something.
do, if they're really searching for Star Wars content, like they should really just show us that scene. Show us what happened.
Give it to us.
See, we want to see. I don't.
it.
I mean, in the Clone Wars, Anakin is a pretty successful guy, but even then, Obi-Wan is always bailing him out of situations. He's the one who like cleans up his messes. That's their dynamic.
Obi-Wan's cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would think, yeah, I got to go Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Stop the third impact. Save
Yeah.
humanity.
Be a weird crossover. Weird crossover.
So that means Obi-Wan Kenobi advances to our peeps and predict champ
Final
Round. Ed Picerni.
in the red corner with his chicken dance. Ed Picerni of EdTV.
It's just a super weird, like 16-bit fighting game, like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
On one side of the Picerni just doing the chicken dance, just waiting for the match to start.
Lightsaber comes out.
Wow.
The predict who is more likely to be secretly infected by an alien parasite.
Oh.
Shoot, man. Wait, just hear me out. One of these guys is in space considerably.
Oh no. That is a super fact-based argument, Danny. I don't know if we have anything to compete against that.
I think it's got to be Obi-Wan, right?
Right.
I mean,
In what situation would Ed Picerni find himself?
like a space alien lands on the planet and wants to take over, so he picks the most unassuming average person he can.
But he's a celebrity.
And he finds Ed Picerni. Yeah, that's true. He's a celebrity. So maybe better. Like,
Might be a better choice.
This human is on a 24-hour nonstop television show.
More people would gather to see Ed Picerni in public and as a, a super spreader event.
But then also Obi-Wan is traveling all over the galaxy with the clearance of being a Jedi Knight. So that's pretty sweet too.
He could infect more galaxies, more planets.
But does he have a camera crew following him around 24/7? No. So,
however, no, but like we saw in the thing doesn't want eyes on it. You know what I mean? It gets to move better when there's not so many eyes on it.
That's a good point. If you're being filmed 24/7, there's no way you can infect other people.
When you're playing Pandemic, like on your JavaScript, like from the link that you saw in E-Bomb's World, you know what I mean? This is a few years back, but when you're playing Pandemic,
a few years,
a year or two, but when you're choosing your symptoms, you know what I mean? You don't want the super obvious ones like bleeding from your eyeballs or vomiting all the time, because then they're going to shut down the borders. You want to be lying under the radar.
You do that right at the end just for fun.
Yeah. I feel like though in the Star Wars galaxy, their customs, like patrol, would probably have a more thorough, depending what planet you're on, would probably have a more thorough inspection and decontamination thing for landing on.
Not if you got Han Solo smuggling you in there.
Think about this. Whenever in any Star Wars movie have they landed at like an airport?
There's no airport.
Or like any kind of, there's never that.
Only on Coruscant.
Even then, they just land up on their like ballin' apartment in the sky,
or Camino, or something like that.
Oh, okay, Camino. Yeah, Camino would be a good example.
Or
if you like land in
Naboo,
the Death Star, I guess.
Or yeah.
But even Naboo, like they don't even know they're there.
That's true. They come in and go in through the water with the Gungans.
Poor security in the Star Wars universe. It could get ravaged by a parasite alien.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, there's one of these that is a better option to infect.
Yeah. I think if you ask the parasite, like, which one of these two people would you like to infect? Like, Obi-Wan gives you the chance, like we've already said, not just for multiple galaxies, but multiple species. You can be knocking out some stuff. You know what I mean? That's spread.
That's
like
true.
a viral video. Like a viral video of like a cute baby and a cute puppy.
Dang.
And some of those species.
And something farts.
Some of those species in the Star Wars galaxy are like underdeveloped. So they don't have any spacing rules or anything like that. If anything,
that's true.
They could just be wild species.
Yeah.
It's got to be that large galaxy that is Star Wars. I think it's Obi-Wan.
All right.
Sorry, Ed.
Old Ben Kenobi.
Ed Picerni. Of course I know him. It's me.
Obi-Wan. You think he's related to old Ben Kenobi? Like, what? How many Kenobis you know, man? Anyway.
That means Obi-Wan Kenobi kicks Ed Picerni off.
No more chicken dance.
Darn, I'm kind of let down about that.
We can still bring back the chicken dance if we want to.
I mean,
or we can leave our friends behind.
There it is.
We can leave those chickens behind.
Because if chickens don't dance, and if they don't dance, they're no friends of mine.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I do want to just hit up what we have coming out next, man. Next week, we're CLing Lamb.
Spooky month.
It's finally here.
Oh boy. We'll be viewing that, in like 3-4 days?
Yeah.
We get to feast our eyes on the...
October 8th.
And then a week after, y'all, we're doing Halloween Kills.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So that's what we have coming up. If you guys want to check it out, I'm excited about a solo movie podcast. Those are always fun.
Also, the Paranormal Activity movie ranking is coming up, and it's going to be good.
Yeah,
so you got time right now to go watch all the Paranormal Activities so you can agree or disagree with our ranking.
It's only 6. It's not a lot.
It's not that bad, and they're all like 90 minutes, too.
Yeah.
So
tight 90 minutes.
You'll get through it real quick.
You don't even have to record a podcast on it. True. Just do it.
True.
We want to say we really appreciate you guys sharing our podcast, getting the word out. We are noticing more response. Thanks for rating us. Help us out with the rating on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us get a wider audience. If you are so inclined for 5 stars, I'll give you a high 5 digitally.
And in case you weren't sure, he did say wider audience, not whiter audience. Not that we have anything against you whites, but this is not a racially exclusive podcast.
It would have been better if you hadn't clarified.
Y'all ever seen The Thing?